Hi dear student, today we are starting with the third lecture on chapter Reproduction in Lower and the Higher Plants. In our last two lectures, we studied asexual reproduction and its type, sexual reproduction, structure of flower and TS of anther. In our third lecture, we will study about the structure of microspore, that is pollen grain, then development of male gametophyte and structure of anatropous ovule. Now we are starting with the microsporogenesis. So microsporogenesis is the process of formation of microspore, that is the pollen grain. So the microsporogenesis is the process of formation of microspore, and that process is called as a microsporogenesis. So this microsporogenesis, the microspore mother cell divide meiotically and to form 4 haploid microspore, that means pollen grain. So what is this microspore mother cell? Microspore mother cell is nothing but is a sporogenous cell. So this sporogenous cell we already studied in TS of anther. So this microspore mother cell is divided meiotically and it forms 4 haploid microspore. Microspore mother cell is diploid cell. It undergo meiosis and it forms 4 haploid microspores. Then the structure of microspore or the structure of pollen grain. The pollen grain is non-motile. It is haploid and unicellular with a single nucleus. So nucleus is non-motile, haploid, unicellular with a single nucleus. So this is the diagram of pollen grain. Pollen grain is surrounded by a 2-layer wall called sporoderm. So outer double layer wall of pollen grain is called as a sporoderm. The sporoderm is itself is made up of, though it's double layered, is made up of 2 layers, exine and intine. Exine is the outer layer. This exine is thick and made up of a complex non-biodegradable substance called sporopollenin. So the outer layer is exine, it is thin and it's made up of non-biodegradable substance called sporopollenin. It may be smooth or with a sculptured pattern. That means the outer wall of exine or extine externally it may be smooth or it may be with a sculptured pattern, and it resists to the chemicals. So this exine is the outer thick wall is made up of non-biodegradable substance that is called sporopollenin, and it resists to the chemical. If you see that at some places this exine shows a very small, very thin areas, and that thin areas are called germ pore. So it get clear through this diagram. So this is what is a germ pore. So at some places the exine became thin, okay, and this thin place is called as a germ pore. So round about 1 or the 3 germ pores are there. These are meant for the growth of emerging pollen tube during the germination of pollen grain. That means during the germination of pollen grain, the pollen tube comes out through this germ pore. Now the next wall is intine. So we studied exine. Now the inner wall is called as a intine. Intine is consist of cellulose and pectin. So what are shown in black, that covering is intine, and the outer bluish covering is exine. Okay, so the intine is consist of a cellulose and pectin. That means the intine is made up of cellulose and pectin. Now this is the complete structure of pollen grain. So you can see once again, outer layer or the outer wall is called as exine, then inner wall is called as intine. Internally it consists of single nucleus, and at some places This exine is thin walled. It forms very small pores, and that pores are called germ pore, and through the germ pore, during the germination of pollen grain, the pollen tubes comes out. Now the development of male gametophyte. How this male gametophyte get developed? Pollen grain marks the beginning of male gametophyte. That is, through the pollen grain, the male gametophyte formation takes place. So this diagram is of pollen grain, and this is what the pollen grain, how this pollen grain turn into the male gametophyte. So study it in detail. First of all, the pollen grain undergo the first mitotic division, and it forms two-celled structure. So this is the pollen grain, where this pollen grain undergo the first mitotic division, and whatever the nucleus or whatever the cell of pollen grain is there, that cell divide into the two cell. The one cell is called vegetative cell, and another cell is called as a generative cell. So this pollen grain undergo the first mitotic division, and it form two cells, vegetative cell and generative cell. So vegetative cell is a bigger cell, it is naked, okay, and the generative cell is a small and thin walled. So you can see clearly. So vegetative cell is a bigger cell, okay, and it is the naked cell, whereas this cell is a generative cell. So whatever the small cell which is shown over here is a generative cell, and the generative cell is small and thin walled. The vegetative cell is rich in food and having the irregular shaped nucleus. So this is the characteristic of vegetative cell. It is rich in food and having irregular shaped nucleus, whereas the generative cell is a small cell, and this cell, it floats in the cytoplasm of vegetative cell. So here the first meiotic division. So during the first meiotic division in the pollen grain, the two cells get formed. One is the vegetative cell and another one is the generative cell. Now the second meiotic division takes place, but the second meiotic division takes place only in the generative cell. So the generative cell undergo the second meiotic cell. The generative cell divides meiotically, and it forms two cells, and these two cells form a two male gametes. So the meiotic division of generative cell takes place either in pollen grain or in the pollen tube. So the meiotic division maybe takes place in the cell itself, okay. So maybe takes place in the generative cell, or it maybe takes place in the pollen tube. Pollen grain are shed from the anther at this two-celled stage in most of the angiosperm. So as this is the partial development of male gametophyte, okay. So up to this stage, the pollen grain gets shed from this anther, okay, from the anther at this stage or at this two-cell stage in most of the angiosperm. So here the development of male gametophyte process we will see once again through this diagram. So the first diagram, the pollen grain is shown over here, that is a complete pollen grain. Then this pollen grain undergo the first meiotic division. It forms two cells, vegetative cell and generative cell. Vegetative cell is a larger cell but it's naked, whereas the generative cell is a smaller cell, and generative cell is float in the cytoplasm of vegetative cell. Now the second mitotic division takes place in the generative cell only. The generative cell divides into the two cell and it forms two male gametophyte. So this formation of two male gametophyte maybe takes place in the pollen tube itself, pollen grain itself, or it maybe takes place in the pollen tube. So this is the development of male gametophyte. It is called as a partial development of male gametophyte. So this much development takes place when the pollen grain is in anther. Now the next topic over here is the gynoecium. It is also called as a pistil. So what is this gynoecium? So gynoecium is a female reproductive whorl of flower. It is a female reproductive part. Then the individual member of gynoecium is called carpel, or you can say that the carpels form the gynoecium. This carpels has three parts: style, ovary, style and stigma. So carpel is made up of three parts: ovary, style and stigma. Carpel are free. If the carpels are free, then they are called as apocarpus. Example, Michelia. And flower, if the carpels are fused, then it is called as a syncarpus. Okay. So the carpels form gynoecium. Carpel has three parts: ovary, style and the stigma. And if these carpels are free, they are called apocarpus. Example, Michelia. And if these carpels are fused with each other, then it is called as a syncarpus. Example, brinjal. And these carpels collectively form the female reproductive part, that is called as a gynoecium. Paddy, wheat and the mango has a single ovule. They are called uniovulate. So all of you know it betterly that the mango and the wheat, they have the single ovule, and this single ovule, so they are called as a uniovulate. Whereas the tomatoes and lady's finger, they has many ovule and they are called it as a multi-ovulate. Now we are starting with the structure of anatropous ovule. So this is the diagram of anatropous ovule. So we are going to study each part one by one. Each ovule developed inside the ovary. So in this diagram, the single carpel is shown. The rounded part over here is the ovary. Then the small style is there, and the upper part is the stigma. So in this ovary, the formation of ovule takes place. Okay. So the ovule develop inside the ovary. Ovule is attached to the placenta by a small stalk called funiculus. So in this diagram, you can also see that this ovule, which is attached with the ovary by means of the very small part, and that is called as a placenta. So this ovule is attached to the placenta by a very small stalk called funiculus. So through this funiculus, so this one is the placenta, whatever the line which is shown in the blue, that is the placenta, and this ovule or this body of ovule attached with the placenta by the very small stalk, and that stalk is called as a funicle. Funicle or funiculus. The place of attachment of funiculus with the main body of ovule is called hilum. So this is a main body of ovule, and this one is a funiculus, and through this hilum, this funiculus attached with the main body of ovule. In the angiosperm, the most common type of ovule is anatropous ovule. So whatever in the diagram is shown, that diagram is of the anatropous ovule. So what is mean by this anatropous ovule? Anatropous ovule means in this ovule, the micropyle is directed towards the downward, and it present adjacent to the funiculus. So this is what a micropyle. Okay, so here whatever the opening is here, this opening is called as a micropyle. So in this diagram you see the placenta, funiculus, hilum, and this is the whole body, and this body of whole body of ovule. In this whole body of ovule, the opening is there, and that opening is called it as what? It is called as a microfile. So now this microfile is projecting downward, or this microfile is directed downward, and such oval is called it as a anatrophous oval. Okay, and secondly, this microfile is present very adjacent to the funiculus, so that oval is called as a anatrophous oval. Oval consists of a central parenchymatous tissue called the nucleus. So here whatever shown in green, that is what? The nucellus. So inside the oval the nucellus is there. So this nucellus is, it is surrounded by the two protective covering called integument. Sorry, the oval consists of a central parenchymatous tissue, and that tissue called it as a nucellus. So the nucellus is nothing but is a parenchymatous tissue. Then this nucellus is gets surrounded by the two protective covering called integument, outer integument and inner integument. It will get clear in this diagram. So the inner integument is there and outer integument. So these two integuments, they surrounds the nucellus. So nucellus is parenchymatous tissue, and this nucellus gets surrounded by the protective covering, that is called integument. Integument is of two types, outer and the inner integument. A narrow opening at the apex of oval is called microfile. So already I have shown you that this opening is called microfile. So the narrow opening at the apex of oval is called microfile, and just at the opposite of microfile the chalaza is there. The chalaza form the base of oval, which is just opposite to the microfile. So at the one end microfile is there, and at the another end chalaza is there. And the next one is the embryo sac. Embryo sac is actually, it's a female gametophyte, is oval multicellular structure embedded in nucellus. So just inside this nucellus, just inner to this nucellus, the oval shaped embryo sac is there. So thank you so much, student.